Before I show you that other family, you need to understand what he actually threw away. And the story he sold the internet was a lifetime of suffering. He left a few things out. A kid with Down syndrome today has a life expectancy around 60. In 1983, it was 25. And most of them grow up and work. Some become actors that you've actually watched. Chris Burke carried a primetime network show for years. These aren't lives of nothing, they're full lives, and Jesse called that, quote, objectively bad. He was wrong on the facts before he was ever wrong on the morals. The vast majority of families raising these kids are not rich, they don't have a cushion, and sometimes they have no support system at all. They'll be the first to tell you it's hard, and they figure it out. And almost every one of them will tell you the same thing. That child turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to them. So put Jesse back in the picture. The man has potentially millions in the bank from my research. Fame, a whole support structure those families would trade anything for. He had the single easiest version of this road that exists. Even one of his own friends said for a guy with his resources, keeping this child would have been a slam dunk. So it was never about whether he could. He very well could, and easier than almost anyone else. He just didn't want to. And he's not alone. In some countries, nearly every pregnancy that gets this diagnosis ends the same way. In Iceland, the number is near 100%. They're not curing Down syndrome over there. They're just making sure no one with it gets born. You can look back on regimes that did this by force, the ones that decided some lives weren't worth living, and we can recoil. But the uncomfortable truth is that we didn't reject what they were after, we just privatized it. We took eugenics, stripped off the uniform, and handed the decision to the parents. The same outcome, minus the villain, no dictator, no decree, just a test result with the word choice, one ultrasound at a time. Brings me back to the other family. Same diagnosis. Mark Tremonti, he's the guitarist from Creed, Alter Bridge, and has his own solo projects. They had a daughter named Stella, born with Down syndrome, and by his own account, the news hit him and his wife just as hard. Same shock, same fear about what life she'd have. He just ran in the opposite direction with it. He didn't just keep her, he turned around and recorded an entire album to raise money for Down syndrome families. Then they built a clinic in her name, one that actually cares for people with Down syndrome for their whole lives. Past 18, the exact age the system usually drops them and their insurance starts to dry up. He looked at the same diagnosis Jesse called objectively bad and built a place to make those lives better. One man got this news and saw a problem to delete. The other got it and saw people worth building for. I'm going to drop the link to the charity in the description. I have no affiliation in any way. Some things just deserve more eyes than they get. Let's turn something tragic into something that helps raise awareness for issues like this.